On this week's episode of the Superhero Show, we'll find out what kind of cousin Kara will be to Clark on My Adventures with Superman, if the boys finally let Butcher back on the team, and if America's new favorite character is Mousy the cab driver on Spider-Man the Animated Series. All of that and more on an all-new episode of the Superhero Show. What's up, nerds? Welcome to the Superhero Show, a podcast that watches only the best of the best comic book TV shows and reviews only those, nothing else. Yep, that's the podcast. I'm Cassie. I know you probably can't tell because my voice is so soothing. You're welcome for it. You're also welcome, Ryan, to talk now. Please save me.
Oh, well, Cassie, I think that you sound incredible. Maybe never better. And I don't mean that to be an insult to every other podcast performance you've ever done, but it is how it's coming out. And so I'm just going to roll with it.
And just like my natural voice.
This is your, yeah.
You don't
Can you do an impression of your normal voice?
Yeah. Hi, it's Cassie.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
So you're saying I should do the vocal warm-ups that I did today for every podcast?
Yes. Were you scream into a speaker turned up to 10 for an hour? Yes, yeah. That is what I would do.
And then chain smoke a whole pack of cigarettes followed up by e-cigs just because I treat my lungs right.
Now, Cassie, chain smoking means one at a time, not rubber band all 20 in the pack together and smoke them all at once.
Not where I'm from, bro. That is exactly what it means, that second one. And I know we normally have a third spot here. The lucrative third spot, Ryan, I have a very special guest this evening to help me out. Do you remember our good old friend Caitlin?
No.
No?
I don't.
I'll let her reintroduce herself. Caitlin, welcome back to the podcast.
It's me! Cassie, I do want to just tell everyone that I wasn't invited today. I did force my way through a wall like a Kool-Aid man. Mm-hmm. And I know Ryan doesn't remember me because he had like amnesia is what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's got a bad case of it.
We don't talk about it in front of him, though. He thinks he remembers everything from his past. We can't bring that up right now.
Okay, I won't tell him.
Yeah. Did I get amnesia? I forgot whether I did or not.
No, Ryan, you remember your family, you remember your past, and you know who you are truly. Don't worry about a thing.
If I met any Make-A-Wish dying girls, I would absolutely remember them, is what you're telling me.
You would remember them fully. You wouldn't need them to bring you back to know that you are a good person and you are saving the town.
The town. The little village of New York.
That little itty bitty town. Yeah, but Caitlin, we always knew you would come back Kool-Aid Man style, bursting through the walls.
It's the only way I know how to, honestly.
Yeah. How does it feel to be back?
Well, I'm going to have to say, like, Cassie, this is the worst time you could have brought me back.
Why?
Like, what the fuck is up with you?
I thought this was, Ryan said it's calming, I believe.
Oh, no, not your voice. You have an extra hand. Did you just grow that?
Oh, yeah, dude, I've been working on it. Thank you for noticing.
Wow, you've really been bulking up. That's great.
I haven't been able to figure out juggling until this third hand came in, so
That's
it's the
really
only way
cool.
I can get it down.
Yeah.
Thank you for noticing that.
Yeah.
This is a real friend, unlike Ryan over there.
Oh, I didn't know that it was on purpose. I thought that was like an accident during surgery. Have you recently watched the movie Total Recall?
I watch it once a week.
Okay, because I think that it's a movie that speaks specifically to your kind of people.
What is that? What is our kind of people?
The triple handers.
Oh, okay, cool. I wasn't sure if you meant like people from the Inland Empire.
No. You guys, I don't know if you guys have cinema yet, so.
Working on it. Big hopes one day. One day for us.
Every movie theater in the Inland Empire, you have to put quarters in every 5 minutes, and the metal door will come up and show you the dancing lady.
It's true art in its truest form, Ryan. Respect it. Caitlin, are you excited to talk about all the shows we are talking about tonight? Have you seen, since you've been gone, we only review the best of the best?
I like that. That's a new thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you were able to grow that extra hand.
Yeah, it's gave me my full potential.
Yeah.
I could put all the energy, instead of watching shitty shows, into growing a third hand. Wait, it's just a hand?
No, it's an arm.
Oh, okay, cool. I can't see it myself, so I have to remember.
It's on your back. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's not that conducive to juggling, but
It's like a tail, but it's cool.
yeah, thank you. Thank you again. Well, the best shows of this week, you guys, of course, Spider-Man the Animated Series is always up there. We're also going to be talking about The Boys, Sweet Tooth. But before we get to all of that, let's go talk about My Adventures of Superman. On the 5th episode of Season 2 of My Adventures with Superman, Superman has been voted one of Metropolis's most eligible bachelors. And Lois and Clark have been assigned to report on it, which all starts to go wrong when Lois starts to get in her head about the chances of their relationship working out. Meanwhile, Jimmy runs into Kara and ends up taking her on a day date, which then goes wrong once Kara starts to attack Superman. Taste buds, I ask you, how many episodes do you think it'll take for Kara to change sides and start to help Clark?
I'm guessing one. I'm kind of hoping the season, but a lot of times when shows like this do, if they err on the side of making it too short, then they err way too much on the side of making it too long and slow. So it's a good question, but I'm going to say not very long.
I kind of wanted it to be a full season too. And the fact that it all started from she had a moment where she was like, wow, you're my cousin. You're the only person I have that I can connect to. And then he bailed on her to go check on Lois. And she instantly was like, fuck this guy, burn it down.
Yeah, well, you guys know how girls
honestly,
are.
Yeah. I respect that.
I would have done the exact same thing. This is the truest thing I've ever seen. So I that's why I wanted a whole season. If there could have been a whole season of her being like, I know this is my family and I would love to connect with him, but he bailed on me without knowing who I was. So fuck him. And I would like a whole season of that pettiness.
Here's the issue with it going on for too long. Just to sort of explain what happens, she gets to New York, right? And she's sort of like fish out of water, alien out of, pizza, ice cream. Whoa, we get that whole segment. And then when she goes berserk on Clark, she gets this Kryptonian armor costume and fucks him up. More than I have seen any bad guy, at least on this show, mess with Clark. It's clear, though, that she's being manipulated. She's, if not she's been convinced to do this, then she's full on someone is in control of her brain. And how long can you have it go where she doesn't have any agency? Where we ultimately want to see Kara making her own decisions, and right now she's not. So I don't know how many episodes you can get out of that.
Dang, look at Ryan being the voice for women wanting their own agency. Everyone, he's one of the good guys. Give him a clap here.
The fact that you have to say that every episode makes me think that you don't believe it, in fact.
I just got to point out the moments when I see them to be like, yes, he is one of the good ones. It's going to be okay. But yeah, I was surprised by how much this suit, I guess, allows her to truly fuck up Clark. What is this just past, give me the lore on this suit. Do you know anything?
No, I was so glad that our resident Superman expert is here, because we could ask her if this happened in Smallville. Because Supergirl can go toe to toe with Superman without the fucking armor. So now she's just basically sitting in a Kryptonian tank. And Caitlin, based on the clues that we get here, do you have any predictions about what's going on with her?
Obviously someone came in as daddy, and pretended to be daddy when she landed here. So I immediately thought Zod, but is it Brainiac? It could be Brainiac. I
think that most of the clues are there, almost to the point where maybe they're throwing us off and it's not Brainiac. But I think that the futuristic, the robot voice in her head, the fact that he makes her call him daddy, which feels like a very Brainiac thing to do. I think Brainiac is the answer, unless they're making it too obvious. But I think at the end of the first season, when we saw her in the armor and we didn't know who it was, we were led to think that it was Zod, right? Because she said something about kneeling and before. That's sort of Zod's thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Brainiac. But I really think the suit is super awesome because it shows how it can make a Kryptonian even more lethal. Like with the laser eyes, like how it was able to like magnify all of her laserness and everything and just make her even stronger than Clark. It was so cool.
She was fucking up ants. But between the laser and the magnifying glass that came out of her costume, ants need to run.
They didn't stand a chance.
Also, she was ready to murder.
Yeah.
She was ready to murder people.
She came down to Earth and said these people kind of suck except for Jimmy, which is
Yeah,
insane.
okay. So now we know she's batshit crazy.
She's really hasn't had the time to adjust to Earth. She hasn't met that many people to know that Jimmy sucks ass.
I want to get to that, but that is sort of what makes me think that it might be a little bit more than the whole you went to Lois instead of me in one instant, therefore I hate you forever and I'm going to kill you. It probably has to do a little bit more with the Brainiac or whoever manipulation that made her do all of that. Because that was some Elle Woods level. Oh, you dumped me. Now I'm going to go to Harvard and become a lawyer just out of revenge.
Yeah, dude, and it's inspiring.
Great. Now I lost my ally card because I think Legally Blonde is stupid. But yeah, no, let's get to the first 10 minutes because it was, I thought, very cute, very like, we've seen this in a million movies, right? Of like, usually it's like a hick, a Smallville type person comes to New York and they experience all the New Yorky things. This time it's an alien. And she and Jimmy have chemistry. I don't know how else to say it.
He took her on such the stereotypical date. Like she instantly saw ice cream, just loved ice cream. They just walked around a park, ate ice cream.
So much ice cream.
Also, so many glizzies.
Oh yeah, a lot of glizzies.
Never forget. I was like, man, this guy knows how to treat her to a good ass date.
Jimmy almost got Caitlyn on this one too. He's just like, well, damn.
I'm not a Jimmy hater. This is my first time hearing that you guys hate Jimmy.
It's a newer development.
Yeah, it's relatively new.
Yeah.
He's dumb as shit, but it's funny to watch.
He is dumb as shit.
I think that my biggest issue is that in this fucking economy, to watch him lose all of his millions in every episode is really getting to me.
It's beautiful.
It's never stressed me out more seeing his number go down, even though it's more money than I can even fathom.
Yeah.
Like existing, I'm like, Jimmy, don't buy that fucking hot dog, dude. You're gonna be desolate so soon.
It does show you that Brainiac, Zod, Lex Luthor, the real villain is inflation, and that's why it's going down so much. And is there
That's her daddy.
Another applause for Ryan. Put it in here.
New York is crazy. Like it's super known for its inflation, particularly on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Oh.
I'm sad that I could see that one building.
You saw it inflating before your eyes?
Saw it inflating. All right, we also have, let's get to Superman being voted one of the most eligible bachelors. Clearly the best choice up there.
Wrong.
Actually,
Oh my
wrong.
god. Did you see my Star Labs boy? My Star
Wait,
Labs
are you a fan of
Zaddy?
that Star Labs little boy?
He's a piece of shit, but he's hot.
Wait, do you mean Hank Henshaw?
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Yeah, Star Labs Daddy. We will not refer to him by his name. That is Star Labs Daddy. Thank you very much.
We're now Cassie's Brainiac. Every comic book or cartoon rendition of Silver Saint Fox,
Yeah.
she's a twig. She's like a tiny little, body. Here, she's a fucking curvy. I won't describe her in too much detail because we're gonna get kicked off the air. But goddamn, Silver, whatever like fucking yoga lattes you have been doing previous to this episode, please keep doing it, girl.
They made her a dominatrix baddie, and they said she will absolutely crush any of them. And I was like, would you like to crush me too?
Like between those thighs.
Between those eyes, obviously.
I mean, like we've in every iteration of the character, Lois has been built up to be this like super strong, super confident. It doesn't even bother me that my boyfriend is Superman because that's the kind of boyfriend I deserve. And 1 second in front of Silver, and she's a murmuring mess. Like she can't even think or talk. And she dumps him because of 2 seconds of chemistry on stage. Lois.
I'm sorry. Let's picture the person that you love, and if you saw that if you saw Silver hitting on them, you'd be like, I simply have to step away. They could do so much better. Look at the life that they could have in front of them.
Honestly, I wouldn't even make a choice. I would probably just disappear like Marty McFly's brother and sister in that picture. I would just be gone and just...
He does good in this most eligible bachelor competition. He ends up winning, which Starlab's daddy really... I think he just leaves after like they even just ask him a question.
Yeah,
I think he just votes himself out of the shit.
He gets mad because he's with the whole Lex Tech boys.
Yeah. Which is just, it's such a fucking locker room boys group. Like, that whole gang. Do you guys know who Hank Henshaw is?
Daddy?
But do you know who Daddy is? For those at home, Cassie spends most of her life walking around going, Daddy? So that checks out.
One day she'll be right, and she will find him. He will come back.
It's like the saddest children's
have
book.
To be my favorite.
Is he the guy that trains Barry?
No.
The wheelchair boy? No, okay.
And no, that's no, he's got a crazy name, right? Ipschitz Duffeldor, I think. Guys, sometimes we really need Mike on the show. No, I thought it was the Martian Manhunter, because that's a similar name, but is actually, if Mike was here, he would explain to us in like a really long, I hate how he does those long buildups. It is Cyborg Superman, one of the 4 who come back after the death of Superman in the comic book. So now we have Steel in this cartoon and Cyborg Superman.
Wait, doesn't Cyborg Superman have to be like a cyborg?
It's a good point, Cassie. Thank you. But
and he's not.
Most people don't start off. You're not born a cyborg, because that would be very painful to the uterus.
There's an instant.
Yeah,
life,
there's usually an explosion or
point.
something where.
Oh, right. Okay, I get it. I'm following. What else do we got going on in this episode? That's about it.
Do we talk about Silver St. Cloud?
No, we have not.
Curvy. Did you guys notice that when this is just TV in 2024? When they were talking about all of the different couples that could be based on who wins the thing, it was 2 boys together, 2 girls together, boy and girl, boy and girl. It doesn't matter what your sexuality is. It's just you're going to be with the winner, and it showed us pictures. This is for the fans of each of the couples kissing, like what could be if those 2 win. And I just like we don't even, who cares? Just if you win, hook up with the person you win with. It doesn't matter at all. None of that shit matters anymore. Very progressive.
Not at all. Yeah, they also had what was the doctor's name? Like, they're fantastic, basically. Was straight up like the doctor's name, and I was like, love it, here for it. Let's go to moments of the week. Caitlin, do you happen to have one?
Wow. Definitely. It was the hot dogs.
Of course it was.
It was all of those hot dogs. And the fact that Jimmy is so oblivious that when she was eating hot dogs and basically shooting things with her eyes, he didn't see anything.
That brings up a point that we probably need Mike for, and I meant to bring this up earlier. I just want to leave a space for Mike to yell when he listens back to this. What's up with Clark's little mouth laser beam thing that he uses against Kara? Have you seen that shit?
Yes, his kaiju.
Yeah, his kaiju. What's up with that?
Well, honestly, like, and I don't know, maybe Caitlin being here you can speak more to this as the youngest of the 3 of us, and therefore the smartest, obviously.
Obviously.
Do you think that people like me and Mike, and to a lesser extent you guys, are missing stuff from the show because we don't know that much about anime, and this show is just using anime tropes in a really cool way, sort of like bridging the gap between anime and really, really American animation into this middle ground that I'm just not catching on. Sorry, I saw another Cassie hand wave in the foreground of the camera, and all of her hands look like dog tails.
Crazy.
It wants to know that we have a question. So you think it's not a Superman power, it's just the animators being like, look this cool ass other way we can do laser beams?
No, it has, if it's anything anime, it has to be he's leveling up.
Yeah.
Like, this means that this is season 1, and he's going to be blue by the next season.
Oh,
Give me
no.
a blue boy.
Sorry, he's going to be yellow, then he's going to go blue, and then red after that.
He's going to go
Okay.
blue, just having pornographic jokes and jokes about poop and shit all the time. But with the blue comes a mullet, right?
Yeah, like a super tall mullet.
Fucking rad, dude.
Lots of party.
Rad. Great. I'm glad we truly figured that one out. Now let's go back to moments of the week. Ryan, what's yours?
My moment of the week is something, I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys. It has. I don't think it's happened to me, but my fear of it keeps me up at night. And so I kind of want it to happen. Like, I've never been stung by a bee, so I just want it to happen so I know what it's like. Clark calls Jimmy and then sees Jimmy across the street. Jimmy pulls out his phone, sees it's Clark, and denies the call, and Clark watches that happen. That made me almost fucking throw up.
That was the most real feeling ever.
That'll haunt your nightmares.
It was so much.
Yeah, that's going to be... I hope they just keep calling back to that all season so I can relive that pain over and over again. My moment of the week was obviously just Silver hitting on Superman so hard. Just a magical moment. Loved it. If you want to watch My Adventures with Superman, it is on Sundays on Max. Caitlin, you've been out for a bit, and I believe it's because you've been working on a big website idea, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, it is.
Would you like to share some of the details of this website?
Yeah, but you have to buy in first.
Okay, so can we get like maybe 3 words to describe what it is?
Money,
Okay.
equity,
Oh.
insurance.
Well,
Did you
4
see how
butts.
fucking sold we were with equity?
equity was a power word you really threw out there.
Thank you.
And I'm still...
Insurance for butts.
Oh, okay, rad.
Yeah.
You have all my monies.
Thank you. Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Now we can talk about it more.
Okay, the floor is yours. Wait, you can get more though. Ryan, are you backing?
Are you in? I need your money.
Unfortunately, I just found out that
my.
my Venmo has a limit of $10,000 per day, so I'm gonna have to Venmo you the other $10,000 tomorrow, if that's cool.
I don't know.
Who else did you send the 10,000 to?
No, to Caitlin right now. I want to send
Yeah.
her more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, got you. When do I get my 10,000? If you're just kind of throwing it around.
Come up with an idea as good as money, equity, insurance for butts.
Fair enough. Caitlin, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so is that ass on that floor. That's what all about this website. Yeah. Oh.
Don't look at me for confirmation.
This is your idea that you've been working on for like 7 months straight.
I was in Holland and sorry, okay, because they were teaching me about things and yeah. But equity.
Okay, so you don't have anything other than that.
Okay.
All of the butts are buttons, and it's very equitable because everyone has a spot on this website. It's all of our index of asses.
Do you know somebody has this already?
What?
Yes.
Ryan, she's been working on this for 7 months.
No, not the website. The website's
Uh-huh.
great. I'm saying that there is somebody out there who has insured their butt for $7 million.
I've heard this actually.
Yeah, and she might be your first client.
Is it Nikki?
No, it's
Darn it!
It's J-Lo.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I knew that.
Icon, dude.
That's actually what inspired me, Ryan. I can't believe you knew that.
That's crazy.
This is crazy. But yeah, this is a website just to get insurance for your booty. J-Lo inspired me. There's a bunch of butts on there. And all of the buttons are butts, as I did say.
Yeah.
And there's actually going to be GIFs, animations of just, J-Lo blowing you kisses out of her booty.
I swear to God, it doesn't matter. Eventually, anytime we pitch a website, eventually it will turn into a GeoCities fucking bullshit website with GIFs and little songs.
It's actually, I built it on MySpace.
Yeah, everything always comes down to a MySpace website.
That's why I learned HTML.
Who are the top 8 friends on this website, Caitlin?
J-Lo, and Jenny from the Block.
Oh, yeah. There's always room for J-Lo.
I know you spent the time learning HTML, so you probably got this website down.
Yeah.
I think we could do a little bit better than GIFs and what you're working with here. Because, I mean, again, you have all of our monies. You have 10,000 plus coming from Ryan. You got all mine.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I said how much I put in, Cassie. How much did you Venmo?
All of my monies.
Right. How many?
All of it.
Like if you had to give it like an exact dollar amount, what would that be?
Yeah, $57.27.
Okay, that's not bad.
And it's all going to her. And now to make up for that gap between the 10,000 and the 57 that I gave, I'm gonna send you to my friend cybersprout.net because they're gonna help you build a beautiful website. Not that yours wouldn't have been beautiful, but I think Cybersprout can do some more. It's because they got design experts that are well versed in digital strategy and elegant design, like buttons. They're down for them. They're down for them. They know what it's about. They got easy to edit fields and custom templates. So if you want to get in there and do your nasty little thing with this, they're totally fine with that. Let Cybersprout handle your hosting, and you can visit cybersprout.net to get started. Cybersprout.net, your partner for digital world. Let's go talk about The Boys. On the third and fourth episodes of The Boys, the gang is down and out and has no choice but to let a dying butcher back on the team. The other big idea? See if they can flip a train on to their side. Meanwhile, Frenchie tells his lover that he's the one that killed his family, and Kimiko meets a possible family member of her own. On the Homelander front, John goes back to where he came from. Not Krypton, but instead a lab of tortuous scientists.
They are not tortoises.
I thought there was tortoises. I got excited, but no. Tortuous scientists who might get a little tortured themselves. Taste buds, I ask you this. Has the storyline of The Boys season 4 kicked off yet?
Okay, so I think we're halfway through, and I'm going to say no.
Okay.
We do this thing, some shows, and this is going to sound crazy to some of you kids out there. You have to wait week to week for each episode instead of getting them all at once. And it's possible that at the end of the season, we're going to look back and we're going to say, oh, the seed planting in the first half was so good that it really brought the whole season together. But right now, I'm a little unclear as to what we're doing. Previous episode or previous seasons really focused on a bad guy like Soldier Boy from season 3 or Stormfront from season 2. We don't have that really right now as a main, as like a big bad or just a through line that like this is what we're all focused on. Instead, it really is like a dozen different stories, that's fine with an ensemble cast. But at some point, we do have to all go in the same direction, and that's what's making me a little bit nervous right now. Is that they wrote down a bunch of ideas and that are all comparable to something that's going on in real life, right? Homelander is Trump, and Sage Steele is Steve Bannon, let's say. And we're getting those smaller plot lines, but it's hard for a B, a C, a D, and an E plot line to work when we don't have an A. We're not sure what the A is.
Do you think, like, they clearly have a plan? They've dropped no hints? Like, there's nothing that, like, all of them are working towards together? Like, it's solely, like, just everyone out here doing their own thing? Like, can you piece together anything of, like, any hints leading towards what the big bad could be? It's
possible that the big bad, other than Homelander, no. But it's possible that the season is the passion of the Butcher, and we're doing is sort of like seeing if we can redeem this character before he dies at the end of the season. And so instead of like a actual story, it's just like more character, let's just follow him. Everybody will be doing things around Butcher, but it's really, can we get him to the point he needs to be before he goes? So that's totally possible.
Do you truly think he's going to die at the end of the season?
If they don't, I think that would be like, I really think that they would shit the bed if they don't. Like, TV shows all of the time will have someone almost die and then not, right? Like, we're so used to it, whether you read comic books or watch dramas. Like, it happens all the time. But the way that this season is working, I really think that it's time for Butcher to do one last actually good thing, right? And then move on from this mortal coil. I would be shocked.
Ryan, I've recently learned of the term cyborg. What if he dies and they keep just like his brain and put him in a robot. Do you think they're on that joint? You think they're on cyborg joint?
It is possible. Honestly, like at least that's something, you know? You can't just say miraculous recovery at the end of the season.
Yeah.
You know, if you do the cyborg thing, it's a bit of a cheat, but at least it's something. I think that we're now past the point. And there's a couple things that happen in this episode that gives me the clues that you were asking for what the end is going to be. One is that, so I know that you guys aren't watching. You're saving it all for the end of the season, and then you're going to binge it all in one day. But
Love it.
Ryan is Homelander's son, and they're teaching him how to be like Homelander Jr., like a sidekick. And Daddy and Kitty are not getting along. And Butcher's trying to recruit Ryan, away from the Trumpiness that is Homelander. At one point, Homelander says to somebody who they're interrogating, nobody's going to hurt you. I swear it on my son's life. And then as soon as the interrogatee, reveals the information, he lasers a hole right through her head and it explodes everywhere. And I sort of think that like the whole swear on my son's life thing might be a little bit foreshadowing. Not to mention, Butcher is setting up multiple sort of like stepdads or adoptive dads in the case that he doesn't, or when he definitely dies. So he has had conversations with the one actor from The Walking Dead, Negan, and who's on the show now?
Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Thank you very much.
Oh, he's here?
Yeah. And it's crazy to watch Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Carl Urban in the same scene and truly find out that they are not the same actor, but two entirely different people. I might have said that on last week's episode, so I apologize. But also, so he's talking to Jeffrey Dean Morgan and then also Mother's Milk about if something happens to me, you know, you need to get Ryan away from Homelander. And so I think what they're showing is that Butcher's awful, but there's nothing worse than Homelander. And I think that that's the big thing, is to get Ryan away, or Ryan doesn't get away. Ryan is killed by his dad. Is there a sontricide here?
I could see, if any show would do it, it would definitely be this one, and I could see it happening. Is this a lack of like? Is this season dipping for you then, or are you still invested in like you have trust in these writers and what they could do to pull off a good season, or you think like this one is the start of the downfall?
I'm trying to remember where I was at halfway through each of the previous seasons, because I may have been at the same place, and then you just get wowed by an ending in such a way where you forget that, right? And so I am not like sticking a fork in the season. I'm just we're at that halfway lull. But the list of sort of like how can we compare this world to our world, like all of these storylines, is starting to get tiresome. And then, of course, and you guys will back me up on this, the list of gross out gags that are jammed in there is like, it's like they make the list before the season starts and then they write around these things, right?
Gotcha.
So, you know, last week we talked about the guy who could clone himself, so he turned himself into an ass-eating human centipede where the front person jerked off while all of his clones ate the ass of the clone in front of them all the way down the row. That feels like not an organic part of storytelling, but instead, wouldn't this be gross if we found a place to put this? Yes?
There's pesticides in that. That's not organic. Imagine your ass being that dirty. Ryan, I have a really big question for you regarding The Boys. So Eric Kripke, you know this guy, he does The Boys. He also did a show called Supernatural, and he's bringing a lot of his people from Supernatural to The Boys. We've seen Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Jensen Ackles, just to name two. Currently, Jared Padalecki is unemployed. So who do you think Jared Padalecki, you know, tall boy from Supernatural, who's he going to be in The Boys?
My best guess is that like Butcher or Mother's Milk is driving down the road and they stop at a red light, and then Jared Padalecki runs out with like a newspaper and Windex and cleans their windshield. He wasn't hired for the show. That's just his current job.
That's him truly trying to get...
He's just like me.
He was like, don't forget about me, guys. This is I'm here.
That would be my best guess.
He's tall, so he can get like all the top crevices like of your window.
Yeah.
That actually is a good career for him. I like that. That's a good one, Ryan.
There's been a lot of scenes this season of people getting all the top crevices of every inch of butts. So that
All
would make
pesticides.
sense. Yeah.
I'm glad I've missed these. It sounds like terrible moments. Should we go to moment of the week for the boys for you?
Yeah, I've got a lot here because you guys don't watch, so I want to see if I can gross you out because I had to watch it. The Vought is putting on a Christmas on Ice thing where Jesus comes out and on skates and says, Santa's not the reason for the season, I am. Homelander accidentally kills one of the skaters. And this is what I love about the show is like the chaos is not just from what the superheroes do in the moment, but also what happens afterwards. Because after that, everyone starts to run or skate, but there are people on the ground who just get skated over. So fingers are flying, ears are flying. Yeah, just amazing. Second one is one of the new characters is Sister Sage, and whose only superpower is that like it's that I can use more of my brain than anybody else, right? Her only thing is that she's very, very smart. But she hates the Deep, but thinks she's hot and wants to fuck him. But the only way to do that is to make her brain lesser. And the only way to do that is for the Deep to perform a frontal lobotomy. So he takes a big, long pin and puts it in the corner of her eye and then scrapes around the brain and then pulls it out. And then after that, she's like, whoa, what's up, buddy? Loses all of her smarts, and then they can have sex. I mean, that's good writing.
Gross.
You see all of this, by the way. It was horrifying.
I hate this fucking show. I'm so glad.
Two more.
Watching it.
Two-
Okay.
Two more?
Oh, good. That one wasn't the bang, huh? That wasn't it? Keep going.
Homelander brings the old lab that he was created in, a Fudgy the Whale. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
It's like a chocolate. I think it's an East Coast thing from Carvel. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, Huey's dad, played by Simon Pegg, is in a coma. He's dying, and the mom comes back and wants to pull the plug. Huey, in a moment of desperation, goes and gets some Compound V and puts it into the dad's IV, and then he wakes up. And that's how the episode ended. Does Simon Pegg have superpowers now? And is he going to join the boys? And is that enough to convince you to watch the show?
No.
Okay, just wondering.
I'm intrigued, though. Please tell me about it next week.
Yeah, I could do it with you just keep telling me what happens, and that's the most ideal way to find out. So thank you for your service, Ryan. You are braver than any of these who have served on the boys.
Anytime.
Let's go into our next show of the week, which is Sweet Tooth. On the 4th and 5th episodes of Sweet Tooth, Season 3, the gang makes it to the big boat, but it's a little emptier than they had hoped. When they make it to Alaska, they find out that Birdie is not there, but Dr. Kim, the principal from the OC, is. Taste buds, I ask you this. Do these Sweet Tooth entries keep the feeling of last seasons of Game of Thrones going?
Good question, Cassie. We talked about this last week about how the last season of really all of Game of Thrones, but the last season was like, we don't care about how far away people are. You know, like in the first season, if it took you a year to get to a place, it would take you the entire season. In the end, you would just get there magically. This last season of Sweet Tooth is doing some of that, but I just feel like the stakes are so much lower. It's fucking Sweet Tooth. It's not Game of Thrones. Nobody's talking about Sweet Tooth.
It's just children.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Like they on a rowboat row real quick, real fast to a giant ship that's on its way to Alaska, and they get there in like 30 minutes. So
The kids are like the equivalent of horses. We based it off of horsepower and car, but we should have based it off of kid power.
There's probably like a shark or a dolphin.
they chop up some pixie sticks, and Sweet Tooth snorts them right to the dome, and then he can just oar like crazy.
Really harness that power. So they don't find Mama. They went all the way to Alaska and don't find.
Yeah, she went somewhere else to look for him. She got lost in the 6-month night of Alaska, which is coming, but was probably saved by the same person who saved Sweet Tooth at the end of these episodes, which is the Antelope Man, who is half man, half antelope, but he's like 60.
Whoa.
Weird.
Which
So
is-
he came first.
He came first.
Intriguing.
Yeah, the whole thing
Not
about
the
Sweet
egg,
Tooth is
not
that
the
like
chicken.
he was supposed to be the first hybrid, and there's somebody much, much older. So, and that's where we left off, and I didn't watch any more. But
Wait, antelope, deer.
Mr.
Related?
Thomas?
It's all
sorry.
Narnia.
Sorry, different brain thought.
I
Okay.
thought they were related. He's daddy.
Daddy. There
So,
will always be a daddy.
Do you think she fucked him?
That's where I immediately went to. But we saw her create baby Gus in a little tube. Like, we've seen him be a tube baby.
Yeah, but she could, I don't know, amnesia him.
If she was so horny for a fucking antelope man that she killed off like 80% of the population, that would be a twist I did not see coming.
You know?
When you're going through the 6-month dark of Alaska out in the middle of nowhere, you get desperate, Ryan. Okay, sometimes things happen.
But I mean, the hardest part, like the craziest scene, was when she brought like the guy, the first hybrid, wanted to run away with her to get married
Because he's fast.
but like she couldn't do it, and so she brought him a melon as like a present, and so she was like, "I cantaloupe, cantaloupe," and that was my moment of the week, is just watching you guys sit through all of that.
I had a question that I wanted to know, and now I'm dead inside. But I do want to know, is it still seeming like they're going to kill Big Man? How's Big Man doing? Still on his last leg?
I would say that, like, if I had to put odds on it at this point, this week, right now, might change next week, Butcher is more likely to be dead by the end of the season than Big Man. I would say the Big Man his body is just failing. The person I want to die is Singh. Dr. Singh has just become this.
I've been down for that since early on.
Mm-hmm.
Just this cocky motherfucker. They get to Alaska and then they let them in to this like compound that they've started. And so no one gets to come in, but they let these guys in. And then Singh is walking, like looking at all the awkward looks that he's getting. And then he just puts up 2 pinkies, like their middle fingers, but to show that his pinkies aren't shaking. So he's like, yeah, look at that. He's just a fucking butthole.
Fucking butthole, dude. What's up, little Gopher Kid? Is Gopher Kid still out there?
Bobby?
Is Bobby out there
Never
fucking it
forget
up?
Bobby.
Only the little pig girl. And this is not a chubby actress. This is a girl who's half pig, half human. She's the only hybrid that's left on the show.
Oh my God, what?
Bobby died?
No, I mean, Bobby might be fine. I just don't know. He's not on the show anymore.
Oh my God, Ryan. Oh my God.
Oh, no, there was that one part where they lined up all the little kids, put them on their knees, and just shot each one in the back of their head.
With this show, I could see that happening.
Ryan, if the episode happens where Bobby dies, you need to let me know, and we will get Caitlin on just so we could see her get crushed like that again, but for real.
Oh my God.
And that's the mole kid?
No, it's
that's the one
Bobby.
that's like no kid. That's the one that's just the fucking gopher out there that can talk. It is the most fucked up thing ever thrown on screen.
Everyone hates him, but I love him.
And the elephant
Bobby
kid is
dies.
gone. Okay, so Cassidy might be the one that actually pulls the trigger to the back of
Yeah, I'm
Bobby's
gonna
head.
write myself. I'm a Jared Padalecki myself onto that set, so so Bobby can get got.
Hey, Hollywood. Hey, Variety. We just invented a new term. It's what we think the sheriff from Resident Alien did, right?
Yeah.
He's just Jared Padalecki'd himself on the show.
Ryan, I know you made the good joke earlier that you already had your moment of the week. Was that your moment of the week for Sweet Tooth?
Yeah.
Great. Sweet Tooth is on Netflix. Watch along with us. Now let's get to our favoriteest show, Spider-Man the Animated Series. Welcome to His Tasmania Bitch, a mini show within a show where we take an in-depth, episode-by-episode look at the seminal and underrated afternoon cartoon of the mid-90s, Spider-Man the Animated Series. This week we continued our talk on Sins of the Father. This week we're on Chapter 3, Attack of the Octobot. Banger of a title. Was excited as soon as it popped up. And it looks like we're picking up basically right where the last one left off with Dr. Octopus coming after Spider-Man and kind of taking over control of him.
Whipping Spider-Man off of buildings, much like Donald Glover. Did you guys see that footage?
No?
Yeah, he's just throwing couches and tables off of skyscrapers.
What?
In New York, yeah.
We
thought that he had all lost it. Apparently it was filming a video or something.
That makes sense.
But for like a solid 24-hour news cycle, we thought he had lost it again.
Wow.
Man, that's a bummer. But I'm glad, excited to see what that film is, and if he needs more people to throw couches, hit your girl up. I'm really good at it.
I mean, if you're going to do that, how about a little bit more Gambino and being a little bit less childish? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, Ryan, I cherish your wit. Back to Spider-Man the Animated Series. We have Dr. Octopus. He like takes over. He uses his little like I'm gonna say crown thing to like control his little Octobot.
It looks real cool.
Let's
put something on my head so I look like a king of controlling things.
Little tiara thing that he's got, and he looks very cute in it. And his little robot takes Spider-Man out. Throws him into his military van because that's what Doc Ock drives.
Did Dr. Octopus, long before Elon Musk, invent the Cybertruck? This thing could roll down some hills and be fine.
We saw the inspiration. We now know how they got this. They were like, hold on, he's on to something. This thing looks rad as hell, dude. This would be a problem. At this moment, we're like, oh no, Spider-Man got. Who can save him? Luckily, there's a tiny little child that he visited before. Who is like watching and making sure that she knows what's up with Spider-Man.
Yeah, the thing like sort of knocks out the Dr. Octopus crown sort of knocks out your memory, but Dr. Octopus is unclear as to how much it will. So like you could go from like I forget the last 2 days to I forgot every single I forgot words, and so he like knocks it out, just crossing his fingers, hoping that like Spider-Man is still like a functional person. And he wakes up or has classic amnesia and just like, what? Where am I? Who are you? Never like, why do you have metal arms coming out of your back?
Yeah,
but
he's
like,
very chill
hello,
with all that.
sir. Who are you?
Not a concern in the world about that. But yeah, he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know why he has like these Spider-Man powers. Unconcerned with that too. His main
Just one thing though. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he just knows that, like, he can't let this person know who he is underneath the mask. He's got to keep that mask on.
Fucking Dr. Octopus goes, and very smoothly, he's like, well, my dear boy, we're all friends here. I'll just take off your mask real quick.
Yeah.
And his arm gets close, and Spidey sense goes off, and Spider-Man in his head's like, well, I don't know what that is. I'll call it Spidey sense for no reason, I guess. And I don't like it, and I think I should keep my mask on.
He's Doc Ock. I've never related to somebody more. Just trying to make friends at a party. Just like, well, we have rapport now. Tell me everything. Tell me your deepest, darkest secrets and who you really are.
I think the most insulting thing that Doc Ock said was Peter Parker said something, and Doc Ock said, "Oh, I cherish your wit," and that really, I think, hurt him to his core.
Oh, did it sting a little too much?
But watching Spider-Man in this minute was amazing because Doc Ock is like, "Yes, my dear boy. We need this for our next crime." And Peter's like, our next crime? I guess we're going to do crime.
This is my favorite thing that's ever happened on this because we've well established that we hate this Spider-Man. This Spider-Man sucks. This Peter Parker is garbage. The whole city of New York also hates him because he's garbage. So Doc Ock is like, yeah, dude, you're a criminal. The people fucking hate you. Here, let me pull up this clip of a person saying how much they fucking hate you. Which we also have multiple of.
Yeah, no, he flips through the channels. And every channel is like, Spider-Man, hate him.
Hate him. So Spider-Man's like, dang, I guess I am a criminal. All right, let's roll out then.
Who's driving? Who's driving the Cybertruck? Because let's go do some crime.
The crime that he's after, honestly, I don't even know what he's trying to break into.
It's like a thing with the stuff inside.
The sciencey things, and Doc Ock wants it, and only Spider-Man could go get it for him.
I think it's the beaker company, and he just needs more beakers because
he's got to pour liquids into beakers.
Dude, how is like science gonna happen if you don't like take one beaker full of liquid and pour it into a different beaker?
It can't fucking happen, and Doc Ock will not stand for it, and neither will Spider-Man because he's not on his team.
Also, at this point, Spider-Man lifts up his mask to see if he can recognize himself, and he doesn't because nobody would. Because you're a fucking random person in New York. The fucking ID does not matter. You're whatever.
He thought like the look of his face would just really bring back all of his childhood memories, I guess. But
this Yeah, and maybe you can remember his poor little ant at home or black cat on the rooftop, according to ChatGPT, who tried to explain this episode to me. But at this point, Tina, the little girl,
yeah,
runs to the police station, or runs into a cop, and the cop takes her to the police station, where, Cassie, we meet who I think might be just the greatest character in the history of the show.
Absolutely. When you picture a cab driver, and you're trying to come up with a name for a cab driver, I would say the first thing that automatically pops into mind is Mousy. And I just want everybody to know I would fucking die for Mousy, okay? Mousy came on screen into this police station and was like, here's a criminal for you. He tried to get a free ride. Fuck this guy. And they're like, all the officers are like, there's Mousy. We love her.
Every single cop was like, it was like Norm walking into Cheers. Mousy! She's here. And if we could describe Mousy real quick, I would say there's a certain word that we're not allowed to use anymore. So I will say like a woman of Romanian descent who looks into crystal balls. Mm-hmm. That's how she's dressed. But with the thickest, I've never done a Jamaican accent until today, but here it is, Jamaican accent I have ever heard in my life.
They throw the most insane phrases just in the middle of a sentence in a way that doesn't add to the sentence and just makes it more confusing. She throws the guy in there and she's like, fell off my cart of coconuts. And I was like, what does that even mean, Mousy?
I swear to God, if we get a Spider-Man, X-Men cartoon crossover with her and Rogue spinning their fucking classic phrases at each other, I'm going to freak out.
Yeah.
But I think that like her ultimate moment is to quote James Brown, and I'm not going to do her voice. I know you guys want me to do her voice.
Come on,
I'm not
Ryan.
going to do her voice.
Do it.
To quote James Brown, I don't know karate, but I do know crazy.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, that was an introduction on a character for sure that really let you know what we're working with.
Mousy, I do have to point out that no one asked if you knew karate or asked you anything. Like there's no reason to say any of that, but thank you. Thank you for mousing it up, Mousy.
But this little girl, she sees Mousy, also instantly falls in love with her and was like, this is the way I can escape and I can go get to Spider-Man. So she sneaks into Mousy's cab.
My guess is that this little girl wants to fucking try weed, and Mousy reeks of the ganj, and that's why she followed her.
She's like, I'm going to have the best night of my life. I met Spider-Man, and I'm going to try weed.
I'm going to do weed.
I'm going to do a weed, and it's going to be kick-ass.
Mousy, can I just do one weed?
You have my permission? Mousy sees this little girl in the cab and is instantly like, whoa, no free rides, because it's been well established she's not down to give free rides. But the little girl convinces her that Spider-Man needs their help. So she does. Mousy, she's like, don't you know Spider-Man? And we see this flashback of Spider-Man saving Mousy, and Mousy is like, Spider-Man's one of the realest people. Mousy is the only person that has ever respected Spider-Man in the city of New York. They found the two people who love Spider-Man, and they are currently in a cab together.
And that does make them fall in love with each other. Like, Mousy goes from no free rides, get out of my cab, to I will die for this little girl. Like, I will run into robots shooting lasers at each other for this little girl.
Yeah. And they do. She's like, all right, cool, let's go follow them. So they like see Spider-Man. They see him like breaking into this like the Wellington Foundry, potentially.
Where they make beef Wellington.
It's where they make beef Wellington.
Wow.
Oh yeah, because they're after a rare metal alloy. Of course it's a metal alloy.
Sure.
He needs Doc Ock.
I think it's called the Wand of Watum. Is that what it's called?
Wand of Watum. And they see Spider-Man that he does break into this, and they also like go into the building too. They just throw themselves into the middle of the fight basically.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man has this moment where he sees them and he's like, wait, I have this sense that there's danger and also I need to protect him like a good person would do, but I'm a criminal, so that's confusing.
I do crime, so
I'm a crime
also,
boy.
At this point, he sees Tiana, who I understand is the princess from The Princess and the Frog, but I don't remember what this little girl's name is. And he's like, little girl? And At this point, based on how Peter has been acting, I'm surprised he even knows the words little or girl, much less can like point one out of a line.
Put together what that is and that it's standing in front of him. But he does. He's like, hey, let's get you guys out of here. He puts them in the little vent shaft and he's like, go out on your way. And at this point, like, Spider-Man is surrounded by all these people who like work in the foundry, like they're security guards. And Doc Ock just like breaks through with his little octopus thing and steals the alloy and just is like, Spider-Man, come on. I'm like, did you need Spider-Man at this point?
Yeah. Hey, Doc, could you have just done that like 20 minutes ago, bro?
Did you need to give this man all this amnesia and throw a little child into the fray? Or could you have just broken into this foundry and got that alloy yourself?
The reasonings of Doc Ock make no sense. We also, in this whole time, MJ, Aunt May, and Aunt Anna are at home watching all of this on Fox News, and fucking Aunt Anna just
Anna, the number one Peter Parker hater.
I'm going to say that Aunt Anna is an AU next Tuesday. She is a fucking awful piece of shit person.
She hates every little comment she can relate to how Peter is a piece of shit and he's never around. He's unreliable. He probably doesn't pay his taxes. And
in typical like boomer fashion, I'm going to say that she's a boomer, even though she's long dead.
Yeah.
Every time she has something to say, she will do like the thing to MJ to like whisper to her and then scream insults about Aunt May's nephew. Fuck this bitch.
She sucks ass. We then cut to the little girl and Mousy, who have decided that they need to go to the journalist for help. They go to the Daily Bugle. Triple J is getting all the deets from them about how Spider-Man has gone criminal, but not of his own free will. And Triple J sees this opportunity to be like, perfect, I can let everybody know that Spider-Man is a giant piece of shit.
I gotta say, Cass, like, I mean, I'm not them, but if I knew that Spider-Man was now a criminal, the last person I would go to is JJJ. That's just me. They do their own thing.
It's looking dark for what else is going to happen to Spider-Man, but this is New York, baby. And if there's one thing they could do, it's rally the cabbies to find Spider-Man and save him.
Wow.
And we get a montage of meeting each individual cabbie of New York City.
Who do you want to do an impression of, Cassie? Because if you won't do Mousy, will you do the severely Indian one that comes next? Just like makes a poo from The Simpsons sound like it was. And then the one of the ones that we get is just a total stoner. Like, I guess that's the other New York stereotype cabbie is just like, whoa, I am looking at things, but I don't know if they're real or not.
Yeah, that's where they tried to save themselves. I think even they realized they were like, are we pushing it too far? Let's throw a white guy in there who's just really far out. And I was like, okay, all right, cool.
I wanted them to go full bore with all of as many stereotypes as you could. For example, no, I'm not gonna do this bit.
But they report that they do see Spider-Man. He's driving the armored Cybertruck, and they're like, this is where he's at. It's Central Park. Of course it is. That's where he's at. So Mousy heads on down over there. And I don't, like, we just see, like, Madam Web is, like, appearing in the Cybertruck's little mirror thing, and, like, trying to get through to Peter to be like, hey, remember who you are, which is just even more confusing. That's not going to help the man.
Yeah, Madam Web, your reasoning for doing things, good. Your techniques, poor. You're just freaking people out.
Really poor.
And I don't want to cut you off, Cassie, but this is the most important ending. I think the most iconic ending of any Spider-Man episode in the history of time. So if we want to just get to, like, Peter and Tiana save the day, right? Like,
yeah.
And then Spider-Man takes Tiana home.
Is that... Oh, this is... Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, the little girl is like, hey, remember, like, who you are, remember me. He's getting these flashbacks of, like, meeting this kid. He's getting inspired, and he does remember eventually who he is. He's like, I'm Spider-Man, and I'm a good guy. And he takes everything resolves. The cabbies are like, hey, you want us to take this little girl home? Spider-Man's like, no, I got it. He flies her to her room.
Oh, you don't want me to take her home in this safe car? You're gonna fly her on? Okay, no, go ahead.
Let's web sling throughout New York to get her to her house. We see her room, and she is Spider-Man's #1 fan. She's got a Spider-Man lamp, bed sheets, posters. She fucking loves Spider-Man.
And just to be clear, I have way more Spider-Man shit than she does.
Yeah.
So I think that would make me the #1 Spider-Man fan.
Not everybody has the monetary resources that you do, the equity that you do, Ryan.
Equity. Butts.
So, and this is Spider-Man's hyped. He's like, you are my best friend. You made me realize that I'm a good man. Spider-Man's back, baby. And the little girl's like, I need one thing from you. One more favor. Will you let me see your face? At this point, I don't know why this kid cares. He lifts up his mask, and she, for some reason, immediately knows, oh, you're Peter Parker.
Yeah.
From what?
Don't know
dude?
how she...
how? You're a child.
From that 12th season of Real World Seattle, where he was just on there. But it's important to note that he says, no, I'm not going to show you my face. It's just the one thing I can't do. Looks out the window, sees the name of the place that she is staying, and then says, you know what? Fuck it. I'll show you my face. And Cassie, this is... if I saw this when I was 12, I don't know what the fuck I would think. I don't even know if I could read. But keep going.
We see... At this point, you're like, wow, what a cool kid. I wonder what her story is. And the writers are like, we're going to give it to you with one flash. We see the sign. It is the Wish Come True Foundation for Terminally Ill Children. No!
He straight up looks outside at this sign on the hospital, and he's like, yeah, fuck it. I can show you my face.
She's like, I'll keep it a secret for the rest of my life. No. They cut to this sign.
Now, in any normal situation, that person would have said, I'll keep it my secret forever. I'll never tell anybody. But she specifically says, for the rest of my life.
My
And Peter's like, yeah, I bet that won't be hard. You fucking dead bitch.
It's not going to be a month, I'll tell you.
Really? Oh, really? Can you hold a secret for 2 weeks? Later.
Enjoy this. You gave me the gift of feeling like I'm a great person. Let me tell you who I am. I'm Peter Parker. It's
also, here's my credit cards. Doesn't matter.
It's the one thing she wanted, and that is her wish come true that this foundation gave her.
Oh, and the foundation didn't do shit.
Ill.
Her make-a-wish to the foundation was that, can I put posters in my wall? And they were like, sure. That's your wish, though. You only get one.
In hopes that one day I find Spider-Man.
But it's not telegraphed, but I swear to God, he looks out the window and sees the sign and then decides, yeah, fuck it.
You know what? This will be fine. Who's she going to tell? The terminally ill friends of hers? It's going to be fine.
She thinks Peter Parker's Spider-Man. She's even more terminally ill than we ever imagined.
And that's the episode, guys.
That's it, baby.
That's it. It's beautiful.
Chapter 3 of Sins of the Daddy.
Sins of Daddy. Let's go to the awards. Best web singer. Ryan, what do you got?
I mean, Spider-Man looks out the window, sees the sign on the hospital, and says, you know what? I can show you my face. Like, what else could it be?
For mine, just the little phrase they threw out for Mousy about the coconut cart things, just because it was truly insane. Caitlin, since you didn't watch this, but I feel like you are an expert in this one, especially for no specific reason. I'm going to let you be the judge. Who should get points? You can also give more than 1 point on this round.
Well, I feel like I want to give Ryan just 1 point because for the terminally ill children.
It's for the children.
It's not for Ryan. It's for the terminally ill children.
And then you can take it back from them when they, don't need it anymore.
I bet that's going to make the chemo so much easier knowing that they got 1 point from Caitlin.
Yeah.
All of them to share.
It's going to ease it all.
You'll get it in a couple days, don't worry.
Let's go to Kung Fu Grip or Best Move or Power. What do you got for that one, Ryan?
Okay, mine is Spider-Man, although he can't remember who he is. He knows he's a criminal with spider powers. And he's like, oh, I can't set off the alarms. And then Tania walks in and walks right through the fucking lasers. Like, we can all... Like, her first step is to set off every single alarm, and that is an action power move that I can relate to.
Like, I get that, like, kids don't know a lot of things, but, like, you understand the concept of lasers and that you have to avoid them. It's a fucking natural instinct that you're born with, okay? She walks right through those shits, and I'm like, God damn it, dude.
Fear of falling, fear of loud noises, fear of avoiding lasers. If that's we'll set off the alarm in the factory that you're in. Those are the three things that you're born with.
Innately, right out the gate. For Best Mover Power, I have the power to use the fact that the city hates you, and the power of film to show that to somebody to mind control them, which Doc Ock does use.
Do you think that it would be worth the investment that if I mocked up like clips of society hating each of you, and anytime I wanted you to do something, I just turned on my TV and play, like, it pretended I was flipping through the channels, but I just showed clips of like people on CNN talking about how much everyone hates you guys. Do you guys think that would work?
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
For sure.
It's going to cost me like $100,000, but I think
it's gonna be worth it, dude.
I'm about $110,000 from this episode.
Not a great episode for you, but it's going to be okay. Caitlin, who are you going to give those points to for that round?
I'm going to give it to the TV station.
The TV station. 1 point?
2.
Oh my God, 2 points.
Yep.
Ryan. Wow, I'm really coming for you in this one. Let's go to most 90s thing. What do you got for Ryan?
I think this is pretty 90s. I mean, maybe it's 60s, 70s, 80s, but like when I was a kid, I remember amnesia as a plot line.
Yeah.
So used. Like, if you need anything to happen, somebody got hit in the head by a coconut that probably flew off a coconut cart, and now you can't remember anything. So
we can move everything along with amnesia. It's a pretty strong one for most 90s thing. I was going to put racism. Because it just felt on board. But then they also threw in robot tanks, and that just feels like a very 90s thing to assume like what high-tech technology would be at this that these security people would have access to. They were like, not a tank. This one is a robot tank. It controls itself.
Sure. I think it was 1996. 96 or 97, I got my first robot tank.
Yeah,
it was fucking dope, dude. The 90s rule.
Game changer. It was on everybody's Christmas list. Caitlin, who would you say deserves some points on that round?
I'm going to have to go with amnesia.
Amnesia. And are you saying 1 point
I'm gonna
more?
give amnesia, Cassie?
Yeah.
Give it 10. Just kidding.
Ooh.
It's 3.
3 points for amnesia.
3 points for amnesia.
Let that ease your amnesia. Let's go to New York as a character. Ryan, what was the New York thing that stood out to you?
I mean, we should just delete this award for this episode. Like,
Do
you want to say it at the same time?
It's fucking yeah, dude. Cabbies?
Taxi cab security system. Hey, all cabbies on patrol, watch out for this thing. And they're all communicating. None of them are talking into a phone.
No.
They're just like shouting it out at their window, and all the cabbies hear it.
The way they get them on board, they have to consult the lead cabbie who's mapping all their routes, and they're like, we'll double your money. And then they all are just down. Yeah.
And the head cabbie's like, cha-ching, cha-ching, double my money. Double zero? I don't even know what that is, but I'll take it.
I'll take it. Caitlin, we teamed up on that one. So I'm just going to let you decide how and if you're going to distribute points on that.
This is for the cabbies, so I'm going to give him 911 points for each one of those.
9/11 for this New York-based show.
I didn't say that.
What?
I like Porsches.
The worst thing about 9/11 was the amnesiacs. They were just like, never forget, and they couldn't remember.
They simply couldn't. That's the saddest story out there, Ryan. Thank you for
can't remember.
All right. Let's move on to Cassie compliment. Ryan, it's a chance for you to get some bonus points. How could you compliment me through this episode?
I mean, am I even losing? If I'm not losing, well, I guess Caitlin can give me negative points if this is not a good compliment.
Yeah.
So, because Cassie, you famously do not do this award. That would be.
Yeah, but you are ahead by 1 point.
Okay. Well, let's kick that up to being ahead by 11 points because Cassie, the wonderful thing about you that I was inspired to tell you by watching this episode is that I only had one wish, and that was to do this podcast with you. And you said yes because you thought I was dying.
Yeah.
I'm now into my late 50s, still alive, but you're like, man, eventually he's going to die.
So
but
funny.
until then, I'm going to keep doing the show with him. And I love you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, I am a true hero. Some you could say. Caitlin, do you think that was good enough to get any extra points for Ryan?
I do. -2.
-2. That's what I'm fucking talking about. That takes our total to Ryan. You had like 913 -2, maybe back to 911. And I think I had 911 +2, so 9, 12, 13. 913 for me, dude. That means I'm the big winner today. I'm the Spider-Man boy. It feels good. It never happens.
I think you're the big winner, and every math teacher you've ever had is the big loser tonight.
There's been a lot of them.
I could list them all and how they failed. And look at me now. That is it for the show, though. We have some websites that you should check out. Those websites being popfilter.co. That's where you're going to get articles. You can read up on the shows. You can read up on Mike's life. I believe there's probably an article about what else
He treats
done.
it as his live journal.
Yeah.
Which is so weird.
So go check that out. That's popfilter.co. If you be shopping these days, if you be shopping on Amazon, I'm going to need you to switch what you're typing into the bar. You need to do popfilter.co/Amazon. And that's because we get a little bit of the monies that you're spending. Instead of Bezos, give us your monies. Thank you very much. Popfilter.co. We also got another show on the network. Ryan, can you please tell the people about it?
Yes, Movie of the Year is a podcast that goes over each season is a different year. Right now we're doing 1984, trying to see what is the greatest movie of 1984. And this week, our episode is The Karate Kid with Adam Kempenaar from Film Spotting.
Dang.
Maybe our biggest guest of all time, so please check that out, because if you don't, the numbers will be low and he will be upset. Not me. I don't care.
Not me.
But he will be furious. Karate Kid is the prequel to Cobra Kai. If
Gotcha.
that makes more sense. Yeah.
Now I see it. 1 out of 9/11. How would you rate that episode?
Jesus.
He loves that question. Everyone, check it out. Movie of the Year. Go listen to it. It's gonna be a great one. We're also on Instagram. We're at Your Pop Filter. Check us out over there. Give us a follow. Give us a like, please. We're also on YouTube at popfilter.co. You can send us an email. It's contact@popfilter.co. If you want to ask us any questions, give us any advice. If you're a math tutor and you want to give it a shot with me, best of luck, bitch, but give it a shot. That is it for this episode. Next week, we're going to be talking about The Boys. Ryan, can you confirm?
Yes.
Sweet Tooth?
Yes.
My Adventures with Superman?
Yes.
Spider-Man.
We're just going to re-air this episode.
Let's re-put this one out, a banger of an episode. For Mike, I'm Ryan. For Ryan, I'm Mike. For Caitlin and me, and for me, I am me. Bye, everyone.